Hey guys, welcome back. It is Canuary 2023 and I am so excited. I have a few amazing choices that I will be sharing with you throughout the month of Canuary. Now these are not your typical run-of-the-mill things you would find on the shelf, but rather something better, more flavorful, and a little bit different. But to start with, we are going to start with something that is a vegetable that my family super loves. We have big green bean people here. This is super easy for canning. There's literally 2 ingredients. You need about 2 pounds of peppered bacon and you need about 10 pounds of green beans. Using those ratios, that will give you approximately 9 quarts of these green beans or 18 pints of the green beans. Before I get the bacon going, I'm actually going to inspect all of my jars, my lids, and my ring. Also, because this has bacon in it, I will be pressure canning, which means I will be pressure canning outside at my canning station. So the first thing I'm going to do is take my jars, nice quart size, wide mouth jars, and I'm just going to wash them in hot soapy water. I'm going to wash the rings as well, get my new lids out, inspect and wash those, and let them sit there while I get the bacon going. I love Canuary. I really have some incredible canning recipes that I'm going to share with you all that is going to elevate your canning inventory and your game. And when you serve these to people, they're actually going to go, oh, wow. So that's something to look forward to coming up. But for right now, let's start with our peppered bacon green beans. There are certain items and gadgets that I absolutely have to have in my kitchen for it to run smoothly, and kitchen shears are definitely on that list. They make tasks like cutting up bacon like this so easy to do. If you can't find black pepper bacon, don't worry about it. Just buy a nice thick cut bacon and add plenty of freshly ground black pepper. It's the exact same thing. These kitchen shears are also perfect for removing the stems and the points from my green beans, as well as cutting them into the size that I want to jar. Alright, so the bacon is done and I just drained it. Oh, my green beans are done. I've removed all of the stem ends, some of the points, any bad areas. I've cut them into approximately 2-inch size pieces. And I am actually going to get a pot of water boiling with these in it, and I'm just going to boil them for 5 minutes. Now, I also have all of this bacon grease left, and I do not dump that out. That is amazing flavor for some of my other recipes. So what I actually like to do with this is, once it's a little bit cooler to the touch, I will actually just put it in a mason jar. I'm going to use a strainer. I like to put it through the sieve because it gets out all those little pieces, which I don't want necessarily in there, and it just leaves me with a beautiful bacon grease. Right, I'm just going to take some of my bacon. It's nice and cool. Set it on my cutting board. And just so the beans are done. They have been boiling, simmering, boiling, slow rolling boil for 5 minutes, and I occasionally stirred it to keep the heat regulated throughout. Make sure all the beans were underneath. Now I am not going to drain this. I'm going to just take the beans out, leave the liquid in, because we're going to use the liquid to fill our jars back up. As you can see, I keep my jars hot with hot water, and then Just dump it out as it's ready to be used. As I'm using them to keep them nice and hot so we won't have any thermal breakage. Before I put the beans in, I'm going to add some bacon to the bottom of this. And I'm going to do between 2 to 3 tablespoons. Probably more towards 3 because who doesn't love bacon? So now that we have our bacon in the bottom of our jars, now we're going to add our green beans. I like to set these back in the sink just in case any spillage happens. Get my funnel. We're going to add our green beans, leaving a 1-inch headspace. I'll pat down. There we go. It's about a 1-inch headspace that we've left. Bacon's on the bottom. Ladle in the hot liquid from our green. Just like that. It's exactly how you want them. You just get the rest of these full and we will be good. Okay, we've got our headspace. Everything's in there, but we have to debubble. So that's what we're gonna do. See those bubbles coming up? You don't want them in there. And then we will readjust headspace as needed. Can you see those bubbles coming up? Now I am just going to adjust back to the 1-inch headspace if needed on just a couple of these. They've been debubbled. They are filled to where they need to be. The jars, just to kind of give you an idea, the jar's about 1 inch, so I always use this as my guide. If I fill it to the bottom, that's 1 inch of headspace. Now I didn't quite have 10 pounds of green beans. What I did have was 7 pounds. So that got me 5 quarts, and I have a little bacon left over, so I'm actually going to put this right on top of each one. Those jars, oh, they're so beautiful. That bacon in there, oh, that peppery bacon is just going to taste amazing with these green beans. So, get a little vinegar, paper towel, and we're just gonna clean our jars. Don't forget the sides. Get our lids on. Finger tight. These are all ready for the canner, and don't forget to dump your leftover vinegar right into your pressure canner water. Got 5 of them in there, so now I am going to put my lid back on. Let's get our lid on, lock that into place. Perfect. As you know, we have to wait. We need to have that come to a full pressure so that the steam is just coming out in a nice steady stream. Today's canning recipe of our black peppered bacon green beans is a fabulous way to get those picky eaters to eat those green beans. The flavor of the bacon just really enhances that. The black pepper, it's not too much, but you can taste it, and it just cohesively works together for the most amazing flavor profile. I have grandchildren that won't touch green beans, but they will eat them this way because the bacon makes all the difference. Who doesn't love bacon? That's some good steam right there. So that is what we want to see, and I am going to set my timer for 10 minutes. My timer just went off. I've had 10 minutes of pressure built up in there. As you can see, the valve in the front is down, or the nipple, it's completely down. I'm now going to take my weight. I'm going to put it over the vent, and I am going to let this come. There it goes. I'm going to put my weight on, and I'm going to let this come to pressure. Mine is 11 psi. Once it reaches that, I will start my timer. 25 minutes for quarts, 20 minutes for pints. I'm doing all quarts, so I'll see you guys in 25 minutes. I used to be so scared of my canner. I'm not going to lie, like, it mocked me from the box for the longest time. My Instapot did too. But one day I just said, you know what? Do it. Do it. And I did. And it has been an addiction ever since. But it's a super rewarding addiction, and it's fun. I love that if I am super busy one night and I can't put something together, I don't have to go through the McDonald's drive-thru. I can literally pull it off my pantry shelf, have it done like that. Those are the perks of preserving. So while I am waiting for things to come and be ready over here, let me share with you just a few little snippets about what exciting things you can expect to see here in 2023. Now, you have also heard me talk about the fact that we have an entire home underneath us. It's like an in-law addition. Original to the house. There was a flood here 7 years ago, I think, before I came along. And they had to rip out a lot of the things down there. Not to mention, you know, it's original like 1960s stuff down there. The kitchen's just okay. But it works, so I'm not complaining. My daughter moved back home. Yeah, she's over 30. She moved home with her 2 babies. So Summit and Emery, they never leave here. They're always here with Nana. I said her husband, Ryan, and their pit bull, Kiva. Now, I do have a big house, but I do not want them in my space. They offered to finish what was done downstairs and put it back together. And I said, sure. So the basement is going to come alive again. And like I said, that is like a little in-law apartment down there. It's got a giant living room, bedroom combo. It has a kitchen. It has a dining room. It has a full bathroom. It has a ginormous walk-in closet. Plus it has the mechanical room on the other side. And I am building my new Christmas closet down there because I've had it with all these tote tubs. It's out of control. I'm going to try to make it a holiday closet, but I'm fairly confident the tote tubs will all be Christmas in there. But these are all things you're going to see. I am definitely going to partake in the pantry challenge this year, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to inventory it and follow it. I am super excited for Canuary this year. So I have there's 2 more I'm actually getting ready to do. I have everything here to do them, and I am really excited to share that with you. Definitely want to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because those are things you are not going to want to miss. And that is all part of my Canuary 2023. And the super, super fun thing, which I started out like really unsure about this, but now I'm just kind of like, So we all know I had my accident, knocked teeth out. I didn't want to go into debt. The dental work that I required from that fall and knocking out so many teeth, I paid cash. I basically put my kitchen renovation in my mouth. But now that I have my teeth, I want my finished kitchen. And I decided, you know what? we are still going forward with this. And instead of having that kind of money to just really get it all done at once, we are going to literally DIY ourselves right through this whole entire kitchen. I got a really, 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 really commercial grade high-end oven range, a range, I guess you call it a range, I don't know, oven, stove, range. Anyways, I got a super high-end one for just a couple $100. And I'm so excited. That was an amazing deal and a half. So that is what inspired me to like, no, we are going to get this kitchen done one way or another. And I'm actually going to do a lot of it. Some things I cannot do, but what I can do, I'm going to do. I am very excited for this kitchen renovation. Oh my goodness, so much of this is changing, and I'm kind of designing my kitchen around this stove. So you definitely want to stay tuned for all that. These are all the exciting things that are going to be coming up here in 2023. It's processed for 25 minutes. We are all done. I've turned the heat off, and now we are going to wait for the gauge to get down to 0. Never try to remove the top until all of the pressure has been released from the vessel. Once that happens, I'll take the jars out and we'll set them out. Continue on to the very last step of the whole thing. Well, second to the last step. I still have to journal. I love to keep an accurate record of my canning because it gives me something to reference back if I have any questions about a particular recipe. And in these notes, I will not only keep the recipe, but how much it yielded. Was there any siphonage? Did anything happen to the glasses itself? Did all the seals happen? Anything that I might find useful if I need to refer back to this recipe and not have any questions of, geez, I wonder how I did that or how I did this. This keeps everything right there where I can access it whenever I need to. All right, pressure is done. We are down to 0. I'm going to open it carefully and away from us. Perfection. This smells so good. 5 quarts. Well, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by as we launch off Canuary 2023 in my house. I also hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button. I do make a new video every week, and you never know what it's going to be about. But one thing's for certain, it's always about creating my handmade home one day at a time. I do all things homemaking and the 3Ds, decorating, design, and DIY. I'm in my element that way.